Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Aeldari Combat Patrol. This video is sponsored by the Game Bunker. More on that later. Alright, so we got the brand new Aeldari Codex coming out with a bunch of new models, a complete range refresh, and along with it we have our first look at the official Combat Patrol. So the previous Aeldari Combat Patrol was not bad, but it wasn't particularly amazing. I think the new Combat Patrol is absolutely phenomenal. So we'll take a look at what's inside the Combat Patrol, what type of starting army this is, and then also we'll take a look at the MSRP value of the models inside the set, the MSRP value of your typical Combat Patrol box set price, and then what kind of savings are actually contained within. Alright, so right off the bat we have one Spiritseer, that's going to be your character or leader for the squad. Then we have one squad of 5 either Wraithblades or Wraithguard, that's a dual kit, you can build either option. Then we have 2 squads of the Aspect Warrior Dire Avengers. Each of those is a 5-man squad or can be combined to have a single 10-man squad. And then we also have 5 of the brand new Warp Spider Aspect Warriors as well. So overall composition for a starting force, I think this is pretty nice. Obviously the Eldar characters are psychic. The Eldar rely specifically on their psychic powers, buffs, debuffs, etc. So having a Spiritseer to get everything started is pretty good. And then we have one sort of like staple heavy unit you can build as either shooting for the Wraithguard or fighting if you prefer the Wraithblades. And then the Dire Avengers have a little bit of combat prowess with their Exarch, the ability to either run them as 2 5-man squads or one big 10-man squad to take advantage of things like Overwatch or some of your other strats is definitely nice. And then the Warp Spiders are going to add in a bunch of extra mobility, some nice flamer shooting attacks, and then also some potential for a little bit of close combat as well. We got a bunch of new detachments, most of which these are going to slot in pretty nicely too. Obviously with this many Aspect Warriors and the functionality of the new Aspect Shrine tokens, they'll go nice in the Belton style Aspect Warrior detachment. But I think overall, regardless of which detachment you choose, this is going to be a nice starting army, as you'll be able to expand with a bunch of vehicles, more Wraith constructs, more Aspect Warriors. Probably not ideal if you're going to be running the Harlequin detachment, and maybe not the best if you're leaning in on the Guardian detachment, although the Dire Avengers gain a lot of those Guardian buffs. So we know the Combat Patrols have been retailing at $168 MSRP. Most of the Combat Patrols have been coming in at around $225 in MSRP for the individual kits, saving you about 25% over retail. So let's take a look at the prices inside here and see what kind of value this presents, strictly based on dollars. So first off, we have the Spiritseer for $35. We have 2 squads of 5 Dire Avengers, which are $45 each. And then we have a squad of the new Warp Spiders, which are $62.50. And then we also have a squad of the Wraithguard / Wraithblades, which are $62.50. So if we total that all up, that comes out to $250 MSRP. So that's going to give us $82 in saving over MSRP if we were to pick up the individual model kits from this set, or roughly a 33% discount. So that would put the new Aeldari Combat Patrol as one of the better savings as far as the existing Combat Patrols, especially the ones that have been coming out lately. So I would say it's definitely a really nice value. Composition wise, it definitely has some really nice models in it, and overall like a pretty good starting army with a character, a heavy squad, 2 of your more like basic Aspect Warrior like elite troop squads, and then 1 fast moving elite squad in the Warp Spiders. Now that being said, the Aeldari did just get a lot of new models, and the only new models that are in this kit are the new Warp Spiders. So while this is definitely a nice jumping off point in base army, the fact that it only includes 1 of the brand new units, only 1 of the brand new model kits, is definitely not ideal. Especially because there wasn't like a launch box or anything like that to go along with this. So if you are after the new models, you're going to be pretty much picking them up in individual units at no discount. But because the new characters that came out were all Phoenix Lords, it makes sense not to include them in the Combat Patrol. Although having 1 less squad of Dire Avengers and then having something like some Swooping Hawks or some Fire Dragons definitely would have been nice. Overall, I really can't complain because the ability to combine the 2 5-man Dire Avenger squads into a 10-man Dire Avenger squad is definitely a nice aspect of this box set. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, Game Bunker. Game Bunker carries a full range of Games Workshop products including miniatures, terrain, paint, tools, and more. Game Bunker offers 15% off MSRP for most Games Workshop products with the discount code WHMS. Receive free shipping in the continental United States on orders over $145. Online orders ship out within 24 hours. Game Bunker is a veteran-owned business. Use affiliate link below, enter discount code WHMS to save 15% on most items at checkout. For fast, friendly service with a discount on your favorite tabletop wargaming purchases, visit GameBunker.net and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. So if you were starting fresh and this was your beginning force and then you were looking to expand out from here, what's the viability of actually picking up 2 of these Combat Patrols and then rocking that? I think it definitely has some viability. It's not crazy to think that depending on what detachment or what route you wanted to go, that you might want as many as 20 dire Avengers, and then either a squad of 5 Wraithblades and 5 Wraithguard, or just 10 of one or the other. I think realistically, most people are going to want to include 10 of the Warp Spiders with Lycus attached. And while having 2 Spiritseers may not be the ideal setup, it's definitely not going to like ruin your army or anything like that. Realistically, you probably want something like a Spiritseer and a Farseer, or a Spiritseer and Eldred Ulthrin, something along those lines. But I don't think you're shooting yourself in the foot by having 2 Spiritseers. So that being said, I think this is a really nice combat patrol. It definitely stacks up nicely against the other combat patrols for actual gameplay. I think it's going to be pretty balanced against the majority of the other combat patrols. It's going to perform well. The Eldar have low toughness. They don't have the best saves, but it definitely fits like the overall Lycan style. And then you have one like really durable unit in the Wraithguard or Wraithblades. You have some nice buffing powers with your psychic attacks. You have a lot of cool abilities and stratagems, and then you have some of that needed speed with the Warp Spiders. This is also a nice basis to like a future army, because if you didn't want to have a ton of troops and you wanted to go more mechanized, you could just stick with one combat patrol and then add in some vehicles accordingly. If you wanted to lean in a little bit heavier on the Wraith constructs, you could just pick up more of the Wraith Guards, Wraith Lords, something like a Wraith Knight, or even one of the planes. And then if you were really liking the Aspect Warriors and wanted to go down that route, wanted to take advantage of the Court of the Young King, adding an avatar to the set and some more Aspect Warriors along with some Phoenix Lords would definitely be a viable option as well. So I've got to say, I am really impressed with this new combat patrol. It's got good value, it's got good savings, and it's got good composition. So it is definitely one of the better combat patrols in my opinion. Presuming that it's going to be coming out at $168 MSRP, it is definitely a good box set and a good jumping off point for new Aeldari players. So let me know what you think of the new combat patrol. Right now, we don't know the exact points on the models inside, but we presume it's going to be somewhere around 500 points, as that's where most of the combat patrols have kind of landed. So this is going to be about a quarter of your typical 2,000 point army. Obviously, the ability to add in some enhancements, or whether you take the Wraithguard or Wraithblades, could put it either slightly below or slightly above that 500 point mark. But I'm definitely happy with this box set, and I'm definitely going to be picking up one myself. So let me know down in the comments what you think of this combat patrol relative to the old one. Are you going to be picking this up? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And special thanks to the Game Bunker for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products with code WHMS at checkout. Link in the description. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I really like the new Aeldari Combat Patrol. And I'm out of here.